he's going through all of this. I know when I lost my mother, or I lost my father, or I lost my grandparents, or whatever is going on in their life, they don't react the same way. And that's what you have to do. You have to always remember somebody's watching you. Yeah. Are you hearing me?
Amen.
If you say you're a Christian, somebody got their eyes on you.
Amen.
And they're trying to see, is there any difference between the way you live and the way they live?
Amen.
So it's got to be, first of all, in the way you live. You got to be a living witness. But the second kind of witness you have to be is you got to be a witness by way of the word. That's what we're doing now. We tell them by the word how it's done.
Amen.
We teach them, amen, what thus saith the Lord.
Amen.
This thing right here is like a road map. You hear what I'm saying? It's
Amen.
like a road map.
Amen.
It's like a manual. It's the owner's manual. And what the Lord does is He gives us the owner. He's the owner, right? He's the one who made us.
Amen.
He's the one who created us. He knows how it's supposed to work. So He gave us the Bible, and He says, if you read the scriptures and then you apply it, don't just read it.
Amen.
Don't even just study it. But when you study it, apply it.
Yeah.
Make the application of it. Make it work. Make it work. Do the things that the scriptures say to be done in it. You will find that things will come out a lot different.
Amen.
Because a lot of times why we mess up is because we ain't doing it the God's way. God says there is a way that seems right to man.
Yeah.
But the ways are death, hell, and destruction. It means if you don't do it my way, you eventually, even if it look like you're getting over now, it look like you achieving stuff right now, but if you don't do it my way, it's going to come, you're going to run into a brick wall eventually.
Yeah.
You're going to find out that my way is the only true way that's going to bring you eternal happiness.
Amen.
Amen. So
Amen.
we gotta preach the word, we gotta live the life, and then we gotta preach the word. We are a living witness, and then we are a witness of the word. We are light, we illuminate, or we show the way by living it and by preaching it.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. But now He didn't stop there. He didn't tell us. He didn't just stop there, because you remember after each one of the illustrations or metaphors, He says this. He says in the first metaphor, which is salt, He says, you are the salt of the earth, but if the earth loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? If the salt loses its saltiness. Listen to what is being said here.
Amen.
I hope y'all are listening.
Yeah.
If it loses its saltiness, remember what it said, salt enhances. But if it's not salty anymore, it loses the ability to enhance anymore.
Amen.
In other words, it's saying it ain't nothing worse than a Christian who says that they're a Christian, who's in church on Sunday morning, but there's no evidence, no credible evidence that Christianity has done any difference in their life.
Amen.
If you're still living the way
Amen.
you lived before you got
Amen.
to church,
Amen.
if you ain't even trying to change the way you were when you were in church, then you lose your ability to have an effectiveness in the earth that you live in. You can't enhance nothing. All you're doing is making it worse. In fact, if anything, you make it even worse.
Yeah.
Because at least you'd be respected more if you had made a decision to just live for the devil.
Amen.
But to say you live for God and then you make a mockery of what we say we stand for, and you're living and doing everything the world is still doing.
Yeah.
Look, let me tell you something. This makes God. And God said, look, I spew you from my mouth.
Wow.
Because you're not never hot nor cold. You haven't made a decision. You're straddling the fence. You're doing what you want to do, and then you say you represent me, but then you over here doing all the things that the devil would have you do.
Yeah.
And so He's saying, how can, look at what He says in that verse. He says, how can it be made salty again? It can't be. If you're a person who's living a hypocritical existence, he's saying you have no effect on the world. It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under by men.
Yeah.
And you know what that means? Look, you be the criticism of everybody. Every time a preacher falls, every time a Christian gets out of line, it's all over the media.
Yeah,
It's everywhere. Everybody
yeah.
talking about how, I told you they ain't about nothing. And you know what happens?